Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Safe Zone podcast. I am Brittney. I'm a mental health guidance specialist, and I'm also a meditation guide. I have been within the mental health field for 8 years now, and I am bringing this podcast. We are coming up on the end of our first season. We have one more episode to go, which is next month. And we are going to complete our first season of the podcast. It has been lovely. I look forward to next season. Feel free to drop over some recommendations or requests for topics for some episodes. Anyway, in this podcast, you are going to learn about mental health, about psychology, maybe about yourself, about some other people, because that's kind of what psychology is: our thoughts, our emotions, our behaviors, the whys behind it. So that's what you're here for. Today's episode 10, are 7 keys for mental health. Why am I presenting this episode to you? Why am I talking about these 7 keys? For 3 reasons. Firstly, I often have to communicate these keys over to clients in the message of, you can go to 1,000,000 therapy sessions. You can see your therapist once a week, every week. But if you neglect these 7 keys, you will still always have challenges. So because of how often I have to communicate that and share this information, I clearly think it's necessary and valuable. I also think there's a lot, kind of the basis of most of these episodes, a lack of awareness behind these key things that we need for good mental health. And these key things each have so much science behind why they're essential for our mental health, that again, I just want to create another avenue to communicate these necessary pieces of information for our own human health, well-being, mental health, etc. And thirdly, which is going to represent one of the 7 keys of good mental health today in today's episode, I think there's a lack of awareness of outlets. And outlets are so important. So I want to use this episode, as I said, it's one of the 7 keys, but one of the main reasons behind wanting to present this information in the form of an episode is because outlets are so important, and people don't know that it's so important, and also they may not know of the variety of outlets that there are out there, so that there's more variety so you can choose, because the outlets that might work for me or the outlets that might work for me this month might not work for you or might not work for me next month. Yeah, so wanting to just create some more awareness behind what are these outlets that we can use and how important outlets are. This episode is going to simply talk about each of these 7 keys of mental health. We're going to talk about each one, give some examples as to what are the ingredients behind each of these keys. And at the end, as usual, I'll give you some tips as to how to incorporate, simple tips as to how to incorporate all of these keys into your mental health regime and lifestyle and daily, weekly, monthly life. And if you have not been here before, like I said in the beginning, I'm a meditation guide. So I can't help but want to offer you all a little pocket of mindful, grounding peace. So we're going to do a little mini mindful moment at the end. I'm going to give you all a couple journal prompts or things to work on to help you all reflect and introspect and integrate the things that we learned within this episode throughout your life beyond this episode. And then we call it a day. Yeah, so let's get into it. So there's no particular order these keys are put. I just listed them out and we're going to go through them, right? So first key out of 7, movement. The human body and the human mind needs movement. Movement does not have to mean, so movement in this circumstance is physical activity. Now, I'm not going to go in depth behind the science of the physical activity and like why physical activity is important, because I did a whole episode on that one. So I will put up a little image to remind you what episode. I can't remember the number. Yeah, I could get this back in my book, What episode was physical activity? Physical activity was episode number 2. So y'all can go back to episode 2 and learn all about the benefits and the physical impacts, chemical impacts, mental impacts, and why physical health is so important to mental health. Yes, we speak about the physical benefits, but I genuinely believe physical health is so much more a mental health thing than like the physical benefits of it. The physical benefits come, but it's such an essential key for mental health. So I'm not going to go into the details behind what science says, about mental health and physical activity. What I'm going to say is, 1, physical activity does not have to be high intensity, which is what we often think. When you think about being physically active for your mental health, you may picture running marathons, extensive weightlifting, and these are all valid options. And the big benefit of high intensity physical activities is that they make you more mindful, or at least that's the effect it has on my mind. Like, another physical activity option, again, that's slow and relaxing, is stretching. But I know myself, and I can stretch and still think about work stuff or personal stuff or world stuff. My mind is still going. But the more intense the physical activity is, the more I have to stay present, because I am trying not to break my old knees under the heavy weights, or I am trying not to half die while I am running. Yeah, so the more high intensity of physical activity is, you are going to get your mind to stop thinking about something in the past, something in the future, some problem solving, and actually just get it into the present moment, into your body, focusing on your breath, focusing on your form, your movement, self-motivating yourself. You can do it 1 more minute, a couple more reps, whatever it is. So there are benefits of high intensity physical activities, but physical activity and this essential key of movement does not always have to look like high intensity. There are slow options. There are also the options of like mobility movements. So some examples of movement that is not high intensity. We spoke about the high intensity ones already. Gym, running, hiking, hashing. What else is a high intensity? High intensity sports. Any of those sports that are high intensity, and I'm sure I'm missing some others. But some more relaxing, slower, and restorative versions, just walking. There is so much evidence and research out there to the benefits behind a simple outdoor walk. Yeah. Then, of course, there's gym. Now, I am saying gym as not a high intensity option because, yes, you can approach them high intensity, but gym does not have to be high intensity. It's how you use the equipment. You can use very light weights. You can use the machines that, again, help support your body and the movements and the weights. So walking, gym, stretching. I know there's some people that have very strict views against yoga. So you can stretch without taking yoga positions. If yoga is your style, do your thing. If for those that feel a resistance towards yoga for whatever reasons and their own personal reasons, just stretching movements, just neck rolls, stretching your upper back, helping your body release tension. When we feel emotions, when we're overthinking, do you know a simple thing as when you're anxious, this head that I think it weighs like 40 pounds or something, some ridiculous thing like that your head weighs. When you're overthinking and worried, your head slightly tilts up without you even noticing. You put a lot of pressure at the back of your neck, and next thing you know, your neck is sore, your traps are sore, your back is sore. So allowing your body to just, you can go to a stretching class, you can put on a video of stretching and follow it along in the comfort of your own home. You can watch your shows and your series. And just stretch while you're watching it. Search up a couple movements, whether you want to stretch your lower body, upper body, and neck, and do some stretching. Swimming, which is also easy. It can be proper like doing laps, or it can just be threading and just doggy paddling or whatever. Is just restorative. And there's also the benefits of jumping. Sounds very random, right? So, I mean, this captures skipping rope, but also just standing up and moving your body and jumping and shaking. This is going into somatic movements and the movements that help your body relax and release, etc. When For example, a very random example, but I'll still give it anyway. When, let's say you make a loud noise and you have a dog and your dog jumps. After that dog receives that kind of like shock, what does the dog do before it walks away? It's just a little shake and then it walks away. So the body knows what it has to do, right? So simple movement, whatever the movement is, whether formal or informal, structured, a short 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or high intensity, we need movement. You can go to 1,000,000 therapy sessions, but if you are not moving your body enough, you are going to feel stiff. You're going to feel heavy. Your mood is going to take a downward spiral. It's going to inevitably happen. So that's our first key, movement. Next key, nature. We humans need nature. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think a lot of our mental health challenges in today's society is because we are stuck in concrete jungles. Then we go into AC cars and then we come back out into a concrete jungle. We do not get sunlight. We do not get fresh air. We do not look at nature enough. We need nature. There are a plethora of benefits that are proven and backed by science to the impact that nature has on the human body, our emotions, and our mind. We need sunlight and we need to touch nature. We need to put our feet in the soil. We need to take our feet off and our shoes off and touch grass. But if you don't want to be a tree hugger, I am a tree hugger. If all you ever see me hugging a tree, you just don't mind me. Either you join me or you just continue walking, right? But don't be judging me, okay? Anyway, if you don't want to look like a weirdo hugging a tree, then you can also take the route of just leaning against a tree. No one knows what you're doing. You're just looking like you're leaning against a tree and you have your hand on a tree. Look up the benefits behind touching a tree, touching soil, going a step further, going into the ocean, touching rocks, going into the river, the salt water that's in the ocean, the magnesium. Everybody taking magnesium supplements. There's so much magnesium within the ocean. Yeah, so nature. We need to touch nature. We need to feel nature. We need sunlight. And there are lots of science behind the benefits of looking at nature. There's a term called passive awareness, a state your brain goes in when you're looking at nature. There's also the benefits of improved moods when we look at the color blue, when we look at the color green, they make us happy. There's also a lot of science behind listening to the sound of birds for more than 6 minutes improves your mood. And even science behind the smells within a forest and the greenery and all of that, how beneficial it is for our mental health. So, second key, nature. Third key, hydration. Half of the times that you're anxious is actually because you're dehydrated. Half of the times that you're tired, it's because you're dehydrated. Yeah? And for all of those that are right now thinking, I don't like water. Some of them alcohol do be so enjoyable, but always chug it down, right? I never ask you if you like water, and I do business if you don't like water. There are ways to go about that, and one of the simple ways is just chugging your water. You know you have to do it. We're grown people. It's not about us wanting to do what we want to do. The reality is we have sometimes being an adult, being healthy means you do things that you don't want to do, but you know it's good for you. That's showing up for yourself. That's taking care of yourself. Yeah, that's emotional maturity. So we need water. Now, drinking a bunch of water is one thing, right? So replacing the water that we release when we urinate or when we sweat, etc. But when we release those liquids from our body, they are not just pure water. We also release salts and we release electrolytes, right? Or we release those things, we use them up and release them, right? So If you are drinking water and you feel like your mouth is still dry and you still feel dehydrated, it might be because you need some salts back into your system. So something I've started doing recently, so let's say I fill up my bottle of water this much, I put like 3 to 4 rocks of Celtic salt in it. Make sure and mix it around, because if you don't mix it around, it's going to settle to the bottom, and the first drink that you have, especially if you have a straw and it goes down to the bottom, it's going to be very salty water, and I see that from experience. Yeah, so a little bit of salt. We're not talking about normal table salt. That is not going to have all the nutrients and all of those nice goodness, right? We're talking about Celtic salt, some of the Himalayan salts. Now, I know Himalayan salt, pink salt, had a craze, same with Celtic salt kind of having right now. The problem with the Himalayan salt is sometimes you get just pink dyed salt. So if it is Himalayan salt, it could work too, but make sure it's legit, proper Himalayan salt. So a little bit of salt in your water adds a lot to the hydration, and then they're very hydrating fruits as well. Coconut water, super jam-packed with salt and electrolytes and proper hydration. Watermelon or watermelon juice, and cucumbers. Cucumbers are very nourishing, hydrating, etc. Right? So proper hydration, your level of hydration is going to determine, again, how anxious or jittery you feel. It's going to determine how tired you feel, and it's also going to determine how good your brain can operate. Your brain is a very high percentage of water. So dehydrated is one thing. We don't think about the impacts it has onto the brain, right? And of course, your skin, your organs, your health, blah, 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 all of that is so much dependent on your level of hydration. So we are going to try to drink more water, even if you have to chug it. And I would also recommend that you walk around with a refillable water bottle. The times where, let's say, I broke a bottle and I was out of a bottle for a couple of days, I definitely know I was not drinking enough water compared to when I move around with my bottle of water and I have it with me. And I wouldn't just take one sip, I will take a couple proper gulps, go about my day, a couple more gulps, go about my day, and make sure that I at least finish my big water bottle in a day. I'm sure I probably need more water than that, but a work in progress, right? So hydration, another key. 4th key out of 7 keys for good mental health: sleep. If you don't have good quality sleep and you are sleep deprived, so much affects you. This is again another topic that I am not going to go in depth in within this episode, because I did an entire episode on sleep. Where was my sleep episode? My sleep episode was episode number 3, hack your sleep. So please check out that sleep episode. You're going to see how much sleep affects your memory, your emotions, your energy, blah, blah, blah. So quality sleep is important. And I also want to just throw out there that naps have a bad rep. And if an adult says that they're going to take a nap, it can very quickly be received as a lazy person, etc., etc. But naps are very good, and they're very good for the brain as well. If I'm correct, the naps either have to be under 20 minutes, under 40 minutes, or under the hour. Something like that. I probably should have researched that before I spoke about it. So just do your research. There's an ideal amount of time that you should nap before the brain starts to go into deeper cycles of sleep, right? And then you end up waking up feeling more groggy than anything, right? So naps are very important and helpful. I rather you take a quick, small 10-15 minute nap by your table or in your car, somewhere safe, than continue about your day irritable, tired, not functioning, not focusing, making mistakes, being clumsy, etc. So good quality sleep, some tips for that. Like I said, I gave a lots and lots of tips in the episode for Hack Your Sleep, right? Lots of easy to apply tips that I suggest to use on top of each other, not just one tip, multiple tips. For this one, I will just say that screens are very impactful for our sleep. I caught myself for a period of time where when I go to bed, I'll take my phone, scroll. I plan to scroll for like 50 minutes. I end up scrolling for a whole hour. If you know, you know. And what I noticed is my eyes started getting bloodshot red. Every morning I wake up, my eyes are bloodshot red. And as soon as I stop the habit, and when I decide I'm going to go to bed, brush my teeth, and put my phone to charge outside, and I go inside, and either I go to sleep one time or I read a book next to my bed, no more bloodshot eyes. Yeah? The blue light behind these screens stop the production of melatonin, and melatonin is what we need, is the hormone that helps us get sleepy. So the more you scroll, you're not going to get more tired. You're going to exhaust yourself. You're going to strain your eyes. Your body is going to be tired. But because of the light, you're not getting the proper hormone signals to go to sleep and get sleepy. So limiting screens before you go to bed, or at least when you are in bed. And relaxation ambiance. So dim lights as much as possible in the night. It helps your body and your circadian rhythm know, okay, there's not a million lights out now. We are not in daytime. It's now nighttime. So that's one thing. And also like the aroma. So aromatherapy, it's a form of therapy. So using those very calming lavender, chamomile, ashwagandha scented teas, creams, body wash, room sprays, candles, etc. And last tip on sleep, foot massages are really useful before you go to sleep. Reflexology says that you can massage under your feet and relax your whole body. And there were lots and lots more sleep tips in that episode. So check out that episode. That is the 4th key for good mental health. 5th key out of 7, nutrition. There are key nutrients that the body needs. So you need protein, especially for your mental health and your emotional stability. There's lots of science behind why you need protein, especially in the morning, to wake up your brain properly and for your brain to function properly, right? So protein is very important. We know people talk about protein when it refers to building muscle. So yes, that's one thing. But protein is needed for your brain to function properly. And your brain affects your thoughts and your emotions and your impulses and a lot more, right? So protein is very important. Making sure that you get enough greens and fruits in, right? No, we can't be adults that say, I don't like this. Find something you like or throw it into a meal somewhere, but you need your greens, especially women around your period time. And you need your fruits. And I also really want to plug supplements, because you may not eat enough iron every single day, but you can take a multivitamin that has your daily supply of iron. You may not eat enough citrus fruits or the fruits that have vitamin C, but if you're taking a vitamin C supplement or again a multivitamin with vitamin C, you're going to get that, right? So supplements are very useful to make sure you tick those basic boxes. Again, you can do the world of therapy. You can do the world of journaling. But if your body doesn't have the key things it needs to function optimally, you are going to always be in problems. Yes? So key supplements, a multivitamin. If you don't want to do a multivitamin, definitely vitamin C. Magnesium, which we've hearing a lot about, but be very careful that you're taking your right magnesium for the impact that you want. There's a list of different types of magnesiums. I'll see if I find a picture and put it up here for you. But a lot of people are using magnesium with the intention behind the benefits of it helping you sleep better and also doing the anti-anxiety impacts, but you're using your wrong magnesium for that impact that you want. A lot of the magnesium supplements, and I'm at least speaking in the context of Trinidad, a lot of the magnesium supplements that you see in Trinidad are magnesium oxide, which has impacts, but make sure those are the impacts that you want. If you are looking for the impacts regarding sleep and nervous system calming, etc., you are going to want to look for magnesium glycinate or biglycinate. Yeah, so magnesium is really important. And you need key essential fish oils, cod liver oils, fish oils, omega-3, 6, 9, right? Many benefits for joints, for your brain function, and even for eyes. So I had a problem with dry eyes at a point, and one of the recommendations from my optometrist was to make sure and start back taking my fish oils, because the oil helps create a barrier on your eyes so that when you blink, the water that's on your eyes that keeps it moist doesn't just evaporate quickly. The oil kind of captures some. Also, my grandfather, rest in peace, Gramsci, he said back then he had a lot of issues with sinus. I am a sneezy person. If you know Brittney long enough, you have seen me being beaten alive by allergies at some point in time, if you know me long enough, right? So I'm allergic to dust, smoke, and what else it is? Something else. Can't remember right now. Anyway, he said that he went to his doctor when he was younger to talk about the, sinus problems, because it's something that runs within my paternal line. And the doctor recommended, I can't remember, like a drug or antibiotic or a steroid or something like that. And it didn't work very well. So he came back and the doctor said, here's what, take cod liver oil every single day. And he said ever since he took cod liver oil every single day, he never had a sinus attack. So I've also seen that experience in my life where if I stop taking my fish oils and my cod liver oils, I find my allergies ramp back up. Yeah, so oils, we need those important oils, and again, of course, for our skin health, etc. Also, just throwing it out there that superfoods are very helpful as well. So the same thing with like supplements, where the supplements you get enough iron, etc., versus eating the same amount of food that gives you that nutrients. Key superfoods that are jam-packed with goodness is also really good. And a big one I want to just big up and throw out there, sea moss. Sea moss gives us 99 or 100 of the 101 or 99 of the 100 minerals that we need. It lacks like 1 or 2 out of the whole list of them. So throwing sea moss in there, just having a sea moss gel. Sea moss gel is not that hard to make. If you want to buy it, you can buy it. The problem with buying sea moss gel sometimes is you get it jam-packed with sugar. Whereas if you make it on your own, you can just throw it in a shake, throw it in a drink, throw it in a smoothie. Yeah, so sea moss is one of those like hacks behind good nutrition. So nutrition, another key mental health, and a key for good mental health, that if you neglect it, don't be surprised when you have drawbacks, and those drawbacks cannot be fixed by mental health services. They are things that you have to do on your own. Second to last key, connection. No, we cannot isolate ourselves. No. We actually do need to interact with people. I know, introverts, stay with me. Stay with me. Just stay with me a little bit longer, okay? Just stay with me. Don't get upset. Don't pause the podcast. If you feel like you need to pause it to just calm yourself and come back, just come back. I'll wait for you. But we do need people. We need safe people. No chances of you finding a long list of safe people, you are blessed. If you have a long list of safe people, you're a blessed person. Being in this chair as a therapist, knowing that there are countless clients that I've come across that their list is one person or 2 people, or they have no list of safe people. Yeah, so we don't need a million safe people, but we do need 1 or 2. Yeah. Now, one of your home stuff will be to list out characteristics of safe people. What determines a safe person, right? Now, a person can be unsafe, but it doesn't mean that they're physically harming us or super destructive. But if a person is a very judgmental person and one of these brutally honest people, that's not going to do good for you. It's not going to do good for you, for your mind, for your self-esteem, etc. Right? So we need safe people. So we need connections with safe people. Two more things we need connections with. You need to connect with your safe people. You need to connect with God. Whatever your belief is of God, whatever your belief is of the universe, whatever is your existential intelligence, whatever that is, build that type of intelligence. Connect with God. How you connect with God is your business. You don't have to justify it to anybody, and it doesn't have to look like how your family connects with God either. You're allowed to connect to your spirituality, your religion, or just your relationship with God, or your belief behind this life purpose, reason, angels, archangels, guides, spiritual guides, whatever is your belief, connect it. And you need not just to acknowledge it, but you need pockets of connection. You need pockets to go and spend time with your safe people, or at least talk to them, give them a call, connect. You need pockets as well to connect with God. Right? And lastly, you need to connect to yourself. Too much people out here fulfilling this role and that role and that role and pouring into this person and that person and that person. And at the end of the day, they're vexed because nobody pouring into them, or they are looking for somebody to take care of them. The only person that has an obligation to take care of yourself is you. The only person you're going to have your entire life, no matter where you are in your life, physically, mentally, emotionally, is you. You have to connect with yourself. You have to know yourself. Build self-awareness. Do these strengths and weaknesses. Self-awareness is not just only good things. Spend time with yourself. And the problem nowadays is when we have time for solitude, when we have time by ourselves, we are drowning our thoughts out with shows, music, or scrolling. That's not quality time. If you go to spend time with your best friend and you sit down next to her or him and scroll the whole time and have no deep conversations, not a question, no time of just individual attention, that's not going to qualify as quality time. You spent company with the person, they were your company or you were their company, but that isn't real connection. So, connecting with yourself. I am a married woman that takes myself on solo dates. Why not? Why I can't take myself out? Why can't I just have a slow morning and not be perturbed and need, So there's a balance. There's a balance between, no, you cannot isolate all the time, but you also cannot socialize all the time. There are pockets that you need to connect to safe people, and there are pockets you need to connect with yourself. Regardless how much people you have around you, you still need you time for your own sanity, for your own self-awareness, for your own check-ins, for your own reflections, for your own times to just not have to do, be, analyze, understand, empathize, just be you. Yeah? Okay. And last key for good mental health, outlets. I spoke about this in the beginning. We need outlets. If you are going through grief, you need outlets. If you are an aggressive person, you need outlets. If you're a submissive person and you don't speak up for yourself, you need outlets. If you are practicing assertiveness, which is controlled aggression, which means you're calmly dealing with things that are actually very triggering to you, you need outlets. If you are a male, you need outlets even more. Physical outlets. We need outlets. If we don't have outlets for our stress, for our emotions, it's going to stay here. It's going to get heavy. You're going to be reactive. You're not going to be patient. It's not going to take much to get you from 0 to 100. You're going to be easily triggered, or you're going to be easily frozen or shut down, or you can't function. So, we have verbal, physical, and emotional outlets. I'm going to give you all some examples. Verbal outlets. Talk it out. Sharing with safe people, vulnerability with safe people, goodness. vulnerability with unsafe people destructive. So, talking it out, whether with a safe person, with a mental health professional, because you can also know that what I say stays there, no judgment, this person can give me educated advice, etc. Or you talk to yourself. Yes, you are a source of comfort, and no, talking to yourself does not make you mad. The people that don't talk to themselves, I am more concerned about that. Talking it out, writing it out. When you write in your journal, it does not have to make sense. It does not have to be legible. It does not have to flow. We are not writing a creative piece. You don't have to read over your venting journal entries. If you want to, do your thing. If you don't want to write, you can type it out. Type it out or type it out onto your phone. If you don't want to write and you can't articulate or slow down your brain, given what's going on, record a voice note. Record a video. Just talk out loud to yourself. Talk to God. Say it in the form of a prayer. So, those are verbal outlets. Physical outlets. Sweating. The same impact and emotional relief and stress relief and cleansing and clearing and release impacts all of that comes when we cry, right? So crying is an outlet. Sweating has the same impact as well. So sweating it out, physical outlets. So getting it out in your sweat through physical activities. When you are being physically active, you breathe it out, you grunt it out, you move it out, you push it out, you pull it out, all of that when you're being physically active. And also, especially any type of pent-up stress, anger, aggression, frustration, hitting. Not anybody, nor a hard object without enough cushioning on your hands. Hitting sports are very good. So kickboxing, football, like hitting, cricket, tennis, pickleball, any of those hitting sports, as well, of course, those like physical sports that you have to fight or you have to maneuver with someone, any type of physical outlets, those are very helpful. And lastly, emotional outlets, which, like I mentioned before, cry it out. Crying is healthy. No, guys, it does not make you look like a loser. It does not emasculate you. Not crying is very dysfunctional. You keep a lot in, it ends up manifesting into physical illness, tension, reactivity, aggression, impatience, etc. So, crying it out, screaming it out. I can't tell you the amount of times I've given a client a home assignment to go and scream. Screaming in your car, screaming into a pillow. If you go on a hike and you're not going to panic the people around you, screaming it out. And also just like singing very loud. That also qualifies as screaming and getting it out as well. Right? And also to tie into the physical and emotional outlets is stretching. Your body and your muscles shift with different emotions. So you have to help your body release the things that it held on to. So to recap, our 7 keys for good mental health are movement, nature, hydration, sleep, nutrition, connection, and outlets. Like I said in the beginning of this episode, you can do as much mental health services as you want, and you can journal and all of these things. But if you're missing these keys behind mental health, there's no other solution behind them or aside from them. You have to do these things. You have to get them in your routine regularly. So, some tips to give you all to help you all incorporate these keys. Firstly, so 3 tips. First tip, pre-plan your week. You don't have to be a business owner to have a planner. Also, if you're not a physical writing planner type of person, you can do it on your phone. You have Google Calendars or your own calendar on your phone. Pre-plan your week, because for me, my weeks look different every week. So one week I could put a gym here and I put gym there. The next week, I might actually be able to do gym here and over here, right? So pre-planning your week, seeing what your week looks like, and making sure that you have a physical activity in there. Making sure that across your month, you're going into good nature at least once or twice a month. Making sure that you put aside some sleep in nights, or making sure that you put in an early night rest if you have the option. And also pre-planning your outlets and your connecting moments. We know all those jokes with planning a date with an adult is like, okay, well, are you free next year, March on the 13th? Yeah. But pre-planning these moments, because you can very quickly go from day to day to week, and month to month in your regular routine, and realize that you missed all of these things. And again, we go into a dark place and we want to know why. Yeah. So pre-plan your week, pre-plan your month. Don't just assume opportunities are going to arise or you're going to remember to do all these things. No, give your brain the ease up. Pre-plan, be intentional. So that's my first tip. My second tip is try to combo some of these keys, right? So an outdoor walk takes care of movement, nature, connection if you do it with someone, and also if you walk and you contemplate and you spend time with yourself or you spend time with God. And it also brings in outlets. So that's 4 keys in one activity, right? So as much as you can habit stack, if you want to use that term, I think so, because again, there's only so much time we have in our regular adult life to do these things. So trying not to just take it one key at a time, but seeing where you can double, triple, quadruple these keys on top of each other so you get to tick multiple boxes. And last tip, positively reinforce yourself, which means acknowledge when you did something good. Big up yourself, talk good to yourself, treat yourself. This week you got a day of gym in, or 2 days of gym in, or you finally went to visit this family member you always want to do, or you took an early night, or you used your screen less, or you went and got supplements and you successfully took your supplements for a month, or whatever the little accomplishments are. Stop celebrating only the big accomplishments. Positive reinforcement increases the chances of a behavior being repeated. You can use that with other people and acknowledge when someone does something that you like and give gratitude and acknowledge it. And you can also use positive reinforcement with yourself. You do something good. Good job, Brits. You did really good. This week was really good. You got your physical activity and you went to visit this person. Hey, you drank enough water today. Big up yourself. Yeah, so treating yourself or just acknowledging your stuff, letting yourself to be motivating. Yeah, and that's all the content for today's episode. So, like I said, I'm going to attach now some recommended stuff to do between this episode for your own introspection. These are nice stuff that you can do during your own solitude, journaling, reflection points, just to help reinforce or apply the information that we learned within this episode. I also want to ask you all to list 3 things that you are grateful for, because gratitude is good. Any 3 things, let's do them together. So you list one thing, you go first, list something that you're grateful for. I am grateful for my family and the many lives that I love and are healthy and safe. List something else, another thing. I am grateful for my voice, the health of my voice, my neck, etc. 3rd thing you're grateful for. I am grateful for the opportunity to do this podcast and everything else related to my job. I was asked twice this week if I like what I do, and I love what I do. It's challenging, it gets heavy, it comes with a lot of responsibility to self-care and offset what I take in within workshops or therapy sessions or meditations, etc. But I wouldn't want to do anything else, and I am so grateful to do something that I love and that God has equipped me to do well. Yeah? Okay. Like I said, we're going to end off with a little mini meditation. So if you can bring yourself to a seated position. Now, disclaimer, if you are driving, if you are somewhere that you need to be attentive for your own safety, you need to watch your surroundings, etc., please don't do this meditation right now. You can pause it and you can come back to it when you're home or more settled. If you are in an environment that is conducive for a mindful moment, a place that is safe enough for you to withdraw your attention outside and bring it within, let's do this meditation together. Bring yourself to a seated position, as comfortable as you can, spine as upright as possible. We're going to do a little bit of movement to help our body release some tension. So you're going to take our left ear and bring it over our left shoulder. We're going to take some neck stretches. Notice if your shoulders are hiked up to your ears, allow them to drop down. Beautiful. If you want to stay here, you can stay here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can take this left hand, bring it up and over, resting, not pushing on your right side. Just resting and using the weight of your hand and your arm to help create some more space here. Beautiful. Taking a nice big belly inhale. Inflate your belly with your inhale, breathing through your nose. Exhale out your mouth. One more like that. Inhale through your nose into your belly. Nice big belly. Exhale out your mouth. Bring your belly button to your spine. Slowly release your left hand. And then very slowly bring your head back up. Let's do the other side. We're going to take our right ear over to our right shoulder. Notice how different the sides are. If there's any difference, this side is a lot tighter for me. If this is enough for you, you can stay here. If you want to go deeper, we can take our right hand up and over, resting it on the left side of our face, and using the weight of this right hand to help create more space. Notice if you've tensed up your shoulders, allow them to drop down away from your ears. Let's take some nice deep belly breaths in through your nose, into your belly. Big inhale. Exhale out your mouth. One more nice big inhale into your belly. And one more exhale out your mouth. Slowly release your hand and bring your head upright. We're going to do a little bit of twisting. Taking your right hand on the outside of your left thigh, not on your knee to put pressure, on the tops of your knees, on your thighs, and we're going to take our gaze over behind our left shoulder. Notice if your body is slanted. Bring your spine as upright as possible, as if there's a string pulling you up to the sky. Twisting and looking over your left shoulder. Nice big inhales through our nose into our belly. Exhale out our mouth. One more big inhale into your belly, create space. And long extended exhale out your mouth. Very slowly bringing your gaze back to center. Taking our right hand on the outside of our right thigh. Twisting over, looking over our right shoulder. Nice big inhale. Out your mouth, exhale. And one more nice big inhale. And out your mouth, exhale. Slowly coming back to center. And that's all for our mini mindful session today. Yeah? Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you learned something. I was looking forward to doing this episode because I think it's such important information. And if I could sing this song of these 7 key essentials to mental health to everybody that I meet, I would. Yeah? I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day or night, wherever this podcast meets you, and I will see you all soon again. Bye, everyone.